Welcome to our YouTube channel Knowledge Bite. Early in the 19th century, Napoleon Bonaparte, a French military commander and emperor, conquered and ruled over most of Europe for over 10 years. He is now regarded as one of the most renowned and contentious leaders in human history due to his political and cultural contributions. Napoleon, who was born on the island of Corsica, advanced through the military ranks of the French Revolution quickly in spite of his unremarkable physical attributes. He launched his first military campaign against Austria in 1796, which he ultimately won and used to pressure the country to sign the Treaty of Campo Formio, which gave the French more territory. The next year, believing the Royal Navy to be superior, he turned down an offer to lead an invasion of Britain and suggested undermining British access to India by invading Egypt and Syria, which were ruled by the Ottoman Empire. Napoleon was successful in his invasion of Egypt, and the expedition ultimately produced the Rosetta Stone and the discipline of Egyptology. However, the campaign was unsuccessful as a result of the British almost completely destroying the French naval fleet during the Battle of the Nile. Napoleon, who was always ruthless and ambitious, left his army in Egypt to plan a coup after hearing about the unrest back in France. Following his rise to prominence as France's first consul, he signed the Treaty of Amiens with Britain, bringing an end to the Second Coalition War and a year-long period of peace throughout Europe. Before installing himself as Emperor of France in a grandiose ceremony in 1804, he sold France's Louisiana territory to the newly independent United States the following year in order to raise money for wars. France fought in the Napoleonic Wars, a sequence of wars with different coalitions of European countries, many of which were led or fought by Britain. From that point until the fall of Napoleon's empire, Napoleon defeated the Third Coalition in 1805 after winning one of his biggest victories against the Russians and Austrians at the Battle of Austerlitz, despite the Royal Navy obliterating the French fleet at the Battle of Trafalgar. The 1,000-year-old Holy Roman Empire was overthrown by the victory, and the Confederation of the Rhine, France's ally and buffer zone with its rivals, Prussia and Austria, was established. Napoleon started his economic war against Britain in 1806 when he established the Continental System, a broad embargo on British trade. The Russians were forced to sign the uneasy Tilton Peace Settlement after France destroyed them at the Battle of Friedland in Eastern Europe, defeating the Fourth Coalition in the process. During the War of the Fifth Coalition, the British and Austrians again put the French to the test, but Napoleon's victory at Wagram cemented his hold on Europe. In an attempt to prolong the embargo against Britain, Napoleon then launched the Peninsular War to occupy the Iberian Peninsula. In 1808, he crowned his brother King of Spain. Napoleon was lured into a new major war by the Russians' refusal to accept the economic consequences of decreased trade as a result of the blockade against Britain. But due to Russia's immense size, harsh climate, and scorched earth tactics, Napoleon's 1812 French invasion did not result in the swift, decisive victory he had hoped for. Following the decisive Battle of Borodino, which resulted in significant losses for both sides, Moscow was completely evacuated and left in flames when the French marched towards it. Napoleon's Grande Armée was brought to an end by the Russian campaign, which also spurred a fresh offensive against the French. Only roughly 100,000 of Napoleon's 600,000 troops who started the campaign managed to escape Russia. During the six-year Peninsular War, French forces were eventually driven out of Spain by guerrilla warfare backed by the British and growing Spanish-Portuguese resistance. Joining Russian forces in the War of the Sixth Coalition in 1813, Prussia and Austria routed Napoleon at the Battle of Leipzig and went on to seize Paris, forcing Napoleon to resign and banishing him to the Italian island of Elba. But Napoleon managed to get away from Elba and retake control of France in less than a year of exile. His new army beat the Prussians at the Battle of Ligny before the British, assisted by the Prussians, crushed them 2 days later at the Battle of Waterloo, close to Brussels. Then, Bonaparte was banished once more, this time to the isolated island of St. Helena in the South Atlantic, where he passed away from stomach cancer at the age of 51. Later, his remains were brought back to France and buried at Les Invalides, the cemetery in Paris that honors the country's war heroes. Napoleon's numerous reforms, in addition to his military prowess and the growth of the French Empire, had a profound impact on the institutions of both France and a large portion of Western Europe. Napoleon promoted, consolidated, codified, and expanded geographically the concepts that form the foundation of our contemporary world, such as meritocracy, equality before the law, property rights, religious tolerance, modern secular education, sound finances, and so forth. On the other hand, the French Revolution was in some ways reversed when women lost nearly all legal rights, slavery was reinstated in French colonies, and Napoleon assumed absolute power as emperor. If you like the video, subscribe the channel and press the bell icon. Thank you for watching.